Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Easy to Learn. This episode is a long listening practice made for you, English learners, who want to improve step by step. In this episode, you will listen to a real story with many ideas about life, growth, and people. The language is slow and simple. During the story, you will hear many useful words. I will explain those words in easy English, so you can learn their meaning right away. You do not need a dictionary because you will understand everything just by listening. Now, before you begin, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. It really helps us make more lessons like this. Now, let's begin our journey together. One cold morning, I walked out of the office where I had worked for 5 years. My hands were trembling. Trembling means they were shaking because of stress or emotion. My thoughts were scattered. Scattered means they were not organized or easy to control. I had just lost my job. My company closed without any warning. I had no plan and no clear direction. Direction means a goal or a path to follow. The street was full of people, but I felt completely isolated. Isolated means I felt alone. I felt separated from others. I sat on a bench near the bus stop. Cars rushed past me. It means they moved quickly. People walked fast and they seemed to have a purpose, a goal. I felt deeply confused. I was unable to think clearly or make a decision. I was scared too. I was afraid. While I sat there, I took a deep breath. I tried to focus on the present. I tried to pay attention to the current moment, not the past or future. I whispered, "This is not the end. This is just the beginning." Saying this made me feel slightly calmer. Slightly means a little bit, just a little bit. So I felt a little bit better. As I sat on the bench, an old woman stopped and looked at me. Her smile was warm and reassuring. It made me feel safe and comforted. That's what reassuring means. She asked softly if I was all right. Softly means gently and quietly. I told her I had lost my job and did not know what to do. She nodded slowly. She moved her head up and down to show understanding. That's nodding. She said, "My dear, I once lost everything too. But that loss became an opportunity. It became a chance for something new." She sat beside me and shared her story. Years ago, she had lost her home and work. At first, she cried every night. Tears came from her eyes because she was sad. Later, she decided to rebuild her life. That means she created it again after losing everything. She learned new skills. She opened a small bakery. She said it was difficult, but it was worth the effort. It means the hard work brought good results. Her words encouraged me. They gave me hope and confidence. That evening, I sat at my kitchen table with a notebook. I decided to make a personal commitment. Commitment means a serious promise. So I made a serious promise to myself. I made a personal commitment. I wrote, "I will not surrender. I will not give up, even if things become difficult." I decided that every week I would attempt one new experience. Attempt means to try to do something different. New experiences help us grow. They help us develop and improve as people. I looked around my small apartment and felt grateful. Grateful means thankful, so I felt thankful and grateful for what I had that night. I felt a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude means a strong feeling of thanks. I told myself that tomorrow I would begin with one simple change. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual. Earlier means before the normal time. For example, if I usually wake up at 8 and today I wake up at 7, that is earlier. The sky was light and the air was cool. I made a cup of tea and sat by the window. I wanted to start my plan immediately. Immediately means without waiting. I was ready to try something new. My first goal was to read in the park for 30 minutes. A goal means something you want to do or achieve. Reading was easy, but doing it outside felt unfamiliar. Unfamiliar means not usual or not something I often do. So I walked to a small park near my house. I found a quiet bench under a tree. The air felt refreshing. Refreshing means it made me feel awake and full of energy. I opened my book and started to read. As I read, I began to notice many small things around me. To notice means to see or hear something and become aware of it. So I noticed that birds were singing in the trees. I noticed that a woman was walking her dog. I noticed that children were playing and laughing. I also noticed the sound of the wind moving through the leaves. I felt curious about everything I could see. Curious means wanting to know more, wanting to learn more. When I returned home, I felt proud. I felt happy about what I had done. It was a small action, but it was meaningful. It was important. It was full of purpose. I wrote in my notebook that I had completed my first task. A task is a piece of work or an activity you finish. So this task was a small start, but it showed me that change had begun. One afternoon, I decided to visit an animal shelter. An animal shelter is a place where lost or homeless animals are cared for. People go there to help and spend time with the animals. I wanted to do something useful and learn something new. I wanted to do something helpful and good for others. When I arrived, a woman named Anna welcomed me. She was a volunteer. A volunteer is someone who works and helps people or animals without getting paid. Anna explained how the shelter worked and asked if I wanted to help feed the dogs. Feed means to give food to someone or something. I felt a little hesitant. Hesitant means unsure. I was slow to make a decision. I was unsure. I was hesitant. I had never done this before, and I was afraid I might do something wrong. Soon I met a small brown dog named Leo. He was very gentle. Gentle means soft, kind, and not aggressive. I sat on the ground next to him and gave him some food. As I fed him, he slowly came closer and rested his head on my leg. I felt a warm and comforting feeling. Comforting means something that makes you feel safe and relaxed. At that comforting moment, I understood how important small acts of care can be. During a short break, I spoke with Anna about the animals. She told me many of them had been abandoned. To be abandoned means left alone, without care or support. So most of the animals had been abandoned. Her stories made me feel sad. I wanted to do more to help. By the end of the afternoon, I felt proud and happy. I felt pleased about what I had done. Weeks passed. The days came and went, one after another. I woke up, did small things, and watched time move. I continued my small experiments. I wanted to try things and see what would happen. Each small action was like a small test. Experiment means trying new ideas or activities to learn from them. Each activity built my confidence. I started to believe that I could do things I was afraid of before. I felt happy when I tried something new. I learned that confidence grows gradually. It does not happen fast. It happens step by step with time and practice. Life was slowly getting better. But then something unexpected happened. One morning I received a phone call from my landlord. A landlord is the person who owns the place you rent. He told me that the building was being sold, and I had 1 month to leave. The news felt like a setback. Setback is a problem that stops or delays progress. I sat on the floor of my apartment. I felt overwhelmed. I was filled with too many emotions at once. I had worked hard to build a routine. Now it was falling apart. I felt uncertain about the future. That means I was not sure what was going to happen. For a few days, I was sad and angry. I stopped going to the animal shelter and did not talk to my new friends. But one evening, I remembered something the old woman had told me. Every problem is also a chance. Every problem is also an opportunity, a new possibility. Maybe losing my home was a chance to make a bigger change. I started looking for a new apartment. The process was difficult and frustrating. Frustrating means it made me feel annoyed and impatient. Many places were too expensive. Some places were too far from work. Finally, I found a small room in a shared house. Shared means used by more than one person. I was nervous about living with strangers. Strangers are people you don't know. But I decided to try it. On my first night there, I met one of my housemates. Housemate means a person who lives in the same house as you. His name was David, and he was a musician. At first, he seemed distant. Distant means not